What's up guys, Maxwell here with another World of Tanks subscriber replay, and this one is from the user German Tigers. That is German Tigers, and he is fittingly driving the Panzer 6B Tiger II, otherwise known as the King Tiger. The absolute bane of World War II. This thing was an absolute beast, although only a few of them were ever manufactured, and even fewer of them were ever recovered after World War II. But anyway, enough of the probably horribly inaccurate history lesson, and on to the game itself. Now, I picked this game because it's quite an old replay. I've had this one lying around for a while. Not sure what's going on with the camera there. Had this one lying around for a while, but I remember it being a good solid game. This guy shows some good individual skills, some good teamwork, some fantastic defensive skills, and gets a good result. So don't expect to see sort of 7, 8, 9 kills, but it is a good game, an interesting game, and you can really learn something from the way this guy plays the Tiger II, and that can be translated to pretty much any decently front armoured heavy tank. So straight away deciding to take a route through the town here to hold the far left hand flank, as there only seems to be one other heavy tank who's gone that way, but spots a light tank, the AMX 1390, which can be an absolute pain if you don't take those things out early on. So unfortunately the guy's hiding pretty successfully behind that rock there, although that KV3 isn't. Ooh! Bit unexpected that, managing to miss the KV3, even though his reticule was pretty much focused just on him, and the German guns are known for their superior accuracy over range. He's probably just going to switch his attention back to this AMX 1390, going to try and get a hit on him every time he pokes his head out from behind those rocks like that. And there we go, able to lay 300 damage straight to his face. So we're going to take up a position behind a little bit of cover, some rocks, and try and get some damage on this 1390 when he pokes his head out. Ooh, unlucky there, not managing to hit. Takes a couple of hits himself, but luckily the sloping on the front arm of the Tiger II enough to deflect 3 shots in a row from this 1390. Fourth one, he manages to find a weak spot, although he's been tracked out in the open there. So unless he manages to repair that track and get the hell out of there, he is in serious trouble. So I seem to remember the 1390 having a half decent gun, but obviously the sloping on the front of the Tiger II, as you can see there, managing to deflect quite a lot of the hits he was taking. So just deciding to back out of there and reverse and leave the town to the people who've gone through the town, and head over to support this AMX 5100, who is dueling it out with a Lorraine 40 ton. Well, I say dueling it out with a Lorraine 40 ton, what I mean is getting owned by the Lorraine 40 ton. So our guy's going to have to try and take this the hill, the higher up position, and try and defend for as long as possible. Well, actually, a Tiger II should be more than a match for a Lorraine 40 ton, especially in a match of peekaboo, with the Lorraine being a medium tank. Ah, but he has allies. He has an IS-3, which is more than a match for a Tiger II. So it's taking cover behind the corpse of the AMX 50. Oh, silly Lorraine, you shouldn't have poked your head out there. Taking 300 damage for his troubles. So it's going to be a case of trying to position himself in a position where he's not offering too much of his weak armour, getting a good hit on that low. So try and offer not too much of his weak armour while being able to draw the enemy out into the open so we can get a favourable firing position on them. That's basically the idea, is you hide behind a corpse or a rock or anything else and try and make your enemy come to you. Because if you can get them out in the open, then you can pick and choose your shots against them, and they only have a small window to shoot you through. So just reversing off at the moment, probably in case he's still detected by them. He just wants to make it look like he is retreating, and then moving back into position, and hopefully they should be more out in the open for him to be able to get a favourable firing position on them. And yes, as you can see, they've decided to try and advance, and he's able to get a good shot on that low again. So just reversing and making it look like he's retreating, and then catching them with their trousers down out in the open. So now they've got two choices. They can either sit out in the open and try and get a hit on the strongest armour that the Tiger II presents, or they can retreat back around the hill, where then in that case they'll have lost any ground that they've just made up, or they can try and charge up the hill, and one of them is probably going to get destroyed, and nobody likes getting destroyed in this game. So it looks like they're trying to advance a little bit now. A man is doing his best to try and fall back and make it look like he's retreating, to try and draw them further up the hill. Again, this is the best option to use when trying to defend against multiple opponents. Although, as you can see in K0 there, he does have the 2 artillery who seem to be focusing in on this area and offering him some very valuable fire support. So really, with that knowledge, all he needs to do is try and stop them advancing up the hill. Yep, there you go, you can see the artillery coming in. All he has to do is try and stop them advancing up the hill and getting into cover. If he can do that, then there should be easy pickings for the artillery. Now this IS-3 is really going to have to back out of there if he wants to preserve his life, and he's pretty aware of that and getting the hell out of dodge. I think that, yes, that's another Tiger 2 coming up to support here. So the game's still pretty even. They are down 1 kill, but 1 kill is pretty much nothing at this point in the game, so very even at the moment, although they don't seem to have anybody in the centre of the map. They've got people in the north and people in the south and nobody in the centre, so that means the enemy is just going to be able to roam across the plains there and then get into the town and possibly start a base capture. So unless somebody can get back there and cover the base, or the artillery's going to do a good job, then they might be in for a defeat here. So just pressing this IS-3 now, because there's 2 of them here, what they can do is just advance on the IS-3. One of them is going to take plenty of damage, which is most likely going to be the guy in the front, but they can trade that off actually. If one of them pulls in front of the other one, they can trade off damage between them and then just charge the guy and take him out, no problem whatsoever. So there was a bit of a base capture happening. Not sure if the enemy's going to press for that, or if they were just manoeuvring through the base to try and find the artillery, but it looks like they've stopped that now, and I didn't see any kills come up, so it looks like the enemy team has just moved through the base rather than starting a base capture. So these 2 Tigers just going to move onto the enemy base. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit there because nothing really happens. As you can see, they've now been obliterated in the north. So it's now, the score is now 7-9, which is a little bit more significant. Losing by 2 kills at this late stage in the game is a little bit more significant, and they have a medium tank moving in on their 2 artillery pieces. So unless someone can get back and stop that, or the artillery's good at self-defense, they are in serious trouble. Oh, the GW Panther's been caught with his pants down. Oh, and would you believe it, left with 13 hit points. How unlucky is that for the Tiger 2, and lucky for the Panther, although is he going to get out of there? He is, but the terrain irregularities mean that he's unable to take any significant cover, and he's in serious trouble. So these 2 guys have started a good base capture. If between them they can stay alive, they should be able to capture this before anybody can do anything about it, although that KV-3 is threatening. And now that it's been moved up to tier 7, it's a much more significant enemy. So all our man has to do is try not to get hit. Because all they have left, they're now losing 9-11, which is more significant. They have an artillery piece and a medium tank. Although I remember from the north they should have some guys moving in to start the base capture themselves. Oh, able to get a fantastic shot on the front of the KV-3 there. Is he able to back out in time before he takes a hit? Yes, yes he is, but he's going to move back in and try and get another hit on this KV-3. Ooh, luckily managed to bounce that one off his sloped armour. And there you can see from the north the enemy moving in, and the KV-3 really shouldn't be sitting around there and trying to play peekaboo with this tank. What he needs to do is just charge in and try and land 1 good hit, probably with HE rounds, just to stop this base capture from happening. But as it is, he plays like a bit of a fool and decides to try and play peekaboo over the terrain with a Tiger 2, which is a battle you're not going to win, especially in a KV-3. So our man able to get a solo base capture there, as his friend, we can see there, was destroyed. And the last remaining enemy were starting a base capture of their own. So absolutely fantastic clip there from German Tigers. Thanks very much for sending that in. And remember guys, if you have your own replays, then please send that to replay@screenreality.com. That's replay@screenreality.com, and I will do my best to turn as many of those into videos like this one as I can. So thanks very much for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.